There's not been an inaugural season like it. 12 different races, 12 different winners across the 6 rounds we've had so far. And dare I say, we might get number 13 out of the way for race 1. Races 13 and 14 here at Tsukuba, the racing equivalent of playing crazy golf in a Hilux. No better way of expressing it than that. And qualifying has thrown up some surprises. We're expecting the Mercedes to do well, and of course Lotterer has, but the entire grid is bookended by a spinning Carl Schumacher and also a spinning Akio Narusai. They're at the back of the pack, and it is just a lottery in between. Adrian Michael Rees here, trackside alongside me, Michael Swinnerton. Hello once again.
Hello, have you ever been crazy golfing with a Hilux? Are you speaking from experience?
I haven't, but I believe it can be done.
I mean,
Whether
in theory,
there is
anything
any
can be
damage
done
at
with
the
a
end of
Hilux.
it, we shall endeavour to see if that is put to fruition. But let's see what happens race-wise. Here we go, and off the line already, Lotterer, but the Scaife, or the Suzuki Honda on the front row is just capitulated back to 6th, 7th, as the rest of the field swing through the first hairpin. Schumacher still last, Narusai still last but one. Butcher up to second after qualifying third. The Genesis pair are being very consistent indeed, looking good for their manufacturer's challenge. On board we go, Winterbottom.
Been very, very calm so far for this first lap. I'm very surprised at these Genesis and their qualifying effort. I'd have thought these cars would have felt a bit too big and clumsy and heavy to really negotiate the tight, twisty nature of this track. But here they are, 3rd and 4th, doing well.
Outpacing, out-qualifying one of the Subarus behind them in Marius Rustad. He's doing well, so is Nakano. Suzuki down to 7th.
Yeah, that's quite the fall from grace from the front row on the grid. We know the front-wheel drive is always going to be slower off the line, but not to that extent. I think Honda are going to be a bit disappointed with that one.
That was down to driver reaction, surely, not just the car. So a quick shot of the Fujiwara Yuasa Honda qualifying in the top 15. Here it is in 14th. Let's not jinx it, shall we? But this is very good news for the oldest car in the Super Touring franchise. They're still powering on with that. Down the inside of Anna de Grassi at the 3rd hairpin, as the traffic jam begins to form further behind. Let's hope that is not the cork in the bottle. Schumacher now last.
It looks like they're going to stay too wide all the way down this straight. Too wide all the way through the final corner. Fujiwara has the line. I think he's going to shove de Grassi out to dry here and get the place. And there goes Ide following through.
Yeah, bad qualifying for Ide. It's been a bit of a dip in form for these Chaser Motorsports Crown athletes. But already ahead. Another lap completed. Rustad with the fastest lap so far, but we're expecting that time to tumble, as we are expecting, well, most laps. It's the shortest circuit, of course.
Ide cutting his way through the traffic rather effectively there, up to 14th. Fujiwara back down to 15th on that final points-paying position there.
Brief comes to the privateer Mazda of Nakajima trying to get on de Grassi's case, but de Grassi still ahead. Frentzen down to 19th. Lotterer leads. There's Butcher, Winterbottom, the 2 Genesis. This is fairly stagnant now, but it's very still. Whoa, okay, Nakano with the wobble on, braking for the first hairpin. Suzuki could have capitalised on that, but a bit slow to react. Pizzonia's Mazda, Nomura's Chaser Crown athlete.
Yeah, Suzuki did a good job of not going into the back of Nakano and sending him into a full-on spin with that wobble.
And Jack Scaife in 10th, but there's Katayama's Mazda trying to steal the place as well. four-wheel drive definitely in evidence here, but that Honda definitely needs work. Qualifying well and just being mediocre every single race is starting to grate. Not just in the Japanese Championship, but the Worlds as well. It's exactly the same car.
Yeah, they're always just there or thereabouts. They've got the consistency down. They just need to find some out-and-out raw pace and speed, I think, in order to really cement themselves as a championship contender. Because, of course, in the World Series, they're falling further and further away from the actual championship contenders, and they're getting stuck in their own little battle with Volvo for essentially best of the rest. Meanwhile, here in Japan, it's a much more sorry state of affairs because it's been a much more even championship.
Much more open championship, and not to say including a more present privateer front runner in those chasers. Top 5 still close. The map doing a better idea of what the gaps look like than some of the other circuits because of how small it is. How small the circuit is, not the map. Now, will Suzuki be able to pounce? The four-wheel drive on the Mitsubishi should be good to go. A bit more stable from the Kano that time by.
Yeah, I think they've got to be a bit careful on the brakes because I'm hearing a lot of tyre squealing going into turn 1. So I think a lot of cars here have got their brake bias set to the rear to help the corner rotation. But of course that means instability on corner entrance.
A bit stable there before Dunlop.
A lot of people just
now with the fastest lap.
Forming off into their own little packs here now. You've got the top 6 by themselves, and then a 2-car breakaway, and then another little group, and then another gap, and another little group. Everyone's finding their own clubs and their own playmates. And even the top 3 are starting to pull away from 4th and 5th here. And Winterbottom looking, well, aggressive and sideways at the same time.
Not the wobble on we expected, but still in 3rd. Muto still with the fastest lap.
I think Winterbottom has the faster car here for the moment. He's got the speed on Butcher, he just needs to find a way past. But with all these cars going sideways on corner entrance, it's not like you can just send a dive and make it stick. Which some of these corners do favour those sort of bold moves.
With Lottery leading, Butcher is still leading the championship then, if this gets called early. Not had to suffer the burden of that. The clouds beginning to form, sunny earlier. We shall keep our eye out for that if it gets worse, and around here it could be likely.
Winterbottom just filling the rear view mirrors of that Toyota, trying to scare him off the road. Well, that's not necessarily a good line from the Aussie there, putting himself back into the clutches of his teammate.
And it's still your top 5 in the same shot. 6th and 7th still in the car. Suzuki as the 2 teammates consider swapping places. Muto still has the fastest lap down.
Meanwhile, Rustad back here enjoying the show.
The over is indeed casting.
I don't think there's any rain forecast, but you never know.
Nomura 8th, Scaife up to 9th.
Yeah, in front of the two Mazdas.
They've slipped back as Takahashi still can't gain ground on the guys in front as well. Ingram 13th. First time for Ingram round here, except for any testing days. Narusai still in last. That means with Frentzen, Nakajima, Degrassi and Schumacher still 16th, we may have well, I still don't want to hope and pray for any good news regarding the oldest car in the field, but it's still in the business end of the field.
It appears that whatever gremlins that Naruse was fighting in qualifying, with the car eventually spinning out on him and just not happy with the setup, it's clearly not fixed for the race because he's not making any progress. I would not want to be his race engineer right now.
Scaife has gone ahead into 8th place of Nomura.
Past the privateer Toyota. Off on up the road. This is the other odd thing we're seeing with these Hondas, or at least I've noticed with these Hondas, is that the ones in the Japanese series seem to get better as the race progresses. They qualify well, they go backwards, and then they start to regain those positions. Which is the complete opposite to the World Series Hondas, who qualify well, stay relatively there, and then slowly fade off as the race progresses.
Well, we could put that down to the franchise using different tyres. This is a Yokohama series. But it can't just be that.
No, I think because there are very, very slight differences in the regulations.
And there we go, Scaife with the fastest lap because he had so much empty track to look forward to. Yeah, he's pinched that off of Muto in 4th place.
You could just run a qualifying lap and hit the marks, hit the apexes, and it's paid off. That is potentially an extra 2 points for him.
And that'll put him with more points for the round than Suzuki's teammate in front of him.
Well, that's why getting that... It's only 2 points, but getting that fastest lap can be crucial.
It's still fairly stagnant, even though there is some excitement to be had here. Rostad or Muto potentially.
They're all within striking distance of each other. They just can't quite get the momentum they need to send it fully and then commit to that move.
Now is Scaife going to break that record he just set? Nope, that's still the previous lap.
2/10 slower this time by. But if he keeps that up, he'll be on the back bumper of his teammate pretty quickly, and then Nakano's going to have to fend off 2 Honda Civics rather than just the one.
We're into the second half of race 1. Round 13. Race 13. So, well, round 7. Numbers. On board with Takahashi, still seeing the Mazda twins. Not Mia and Tia.
Yes, I got that reference. Yeah, just enjoying the show of admiring the back end of a Mazda 3. Watching them try to put on some formation flying and not really committing, just like a lot of the cars on this field so far.
Ingram still 13th, now fending off the catching Ide. Fujiwara now has got the work to do because that is Carl Schumacher, very close indeed. One of the newer cars trying to attack the oldest car in the entire franchise, in the entire championship, and we are hearing that they have decided to call time on this car by the end of this weekend. That means maybe they'll be taking whatever their pick might be. We've heard it's a Ford. Whether it's the front-wheel drive or the four-wheel drive version, because it is allowed in this championship, remains to be seen. If they don't get in done for time for Bathurst, they might need to skip that round. That's what we're hearing.
Either way, very excited to see what they turn up on the grid with next time we see them. As there is currently no Ford representation in this field, so seeing a Focus RS makes complete sense. Another car with some rallying pedigree behind it, so they can go and take the fight to the Mitsubishi team and the Subaru team, and the Toyota team to a lesser extent.
And whilst it's fending off the attacking Carl Schumacher, it's also got Ide struggling. Well, almost into the second hairpin. these boys are getting better every single race, and as it's obviously in evidence. Degrassi now catching Schumacher as well. This might be very promising indeed for the Iwasa race. Was that an over? Oh my word, that would have been an overtake for the ages.
Couldn't quite
Of
pull
all
it off,
the
but it was a
underdog
dive.
stories, that was on. That was almost on, because E-Day, with his own underdog story, is still a Goliath in comparison to the Iwasa Honda we see right now.
Absolutely. Big fish, small fish, pond, etc., etc.
There's always a bigger fish. Lotterer still leads, Butcher and Winterbottom, your podium. Scaife still holding that fastest lap in the late stages of the race. Nakajima 19th, and it's evident that the Narusai Corolla, so yeah, is not playing ball
The car is not happy. They're going to have to pull that thing apart and go gremlin hunting, I think. Get it ready for race 2.
Which, given the absolute championship favourite status the team had before the season began, is not a good look indeed. Butcher second, yes. Mercedes are in a way struggling, but they've got their own battles to deal with. Suzuki now ahead of Nakano. It's happened finally. Nomura gone back ahead of Scaife then.
Yeah.
And that's why Scaife has managed to get another fastest lap, and he might have gone wide. Pitsonia 10th, and that means it's going to split the two Mazdas for race 2 if it stays like that. Ingram still 13th, E-Day still 14th, and it's still a string behind them. Fingers crossed we see. Yep, we just saw a brief glimpse of the Fujiwara. There it is, still 3.5 to go. We all want it to happen. Even the guys in the paddock, every single, apart from the guys behind, perhaps want this to happen to that team, given the performance that they've just stuck with it, got their experience in, giving this car one of the best send-offs it's ever had.
Yeah, absolutely. I've actually had the pleasure of driving that car. It's not bad. It's not like it handles horribly. It just doesn't quite have the oomph compared to the cars around it. Whoop!
Wobble on,
drifting
and
there.
Schumacher didn't capitalise either. This is very close. It's close to joy and heartbreak in the turn of a wheel too soon.
He's doing a good job hitting his marks, staying on the racing line, making sure he covers off any potential attacks.
Hasn't phased him that there's a Mercedes with full factory backing trying to get ahead. There's the dive bomb again, a bit too far away. Maybe we spoke too soon.
And this train is getting slowly more and more concise, as I feel like Pitsonia is definitely dropping off the back of Scaife here and backing everybody up from 10th on back. So from 10th all the way down to 19th. This train is getting slowly squished together, and as cars get closer, they're going to start tripping over each other, and we may just see some fireworks. Yet as Ingram what
wide.
Is that for a racing line, mate?
I'm sure you'll have words with him later about that.
I mean, we've already seen his teammate have a bit of a wobble on going into that corner under braking, so it might be a Mitsubishi thing that they're not happy on that part of the track. And Ingram possibly just lifted off the brakes and opted to go around the outside, so he didn't have to deal with a massive piece of oversteer. As he all bunch up for the hairpin again.
And the traffic jam is still beginning to coalesce from 10th to 19th.
Nakajima just falling off the back of it though a little bit, so this Mazda not necessarily the happiest around here either.
And it's a lap and a half of goodness to go for the leaders. They've already crossed the line. There's Frenson, quiet showing for her, no points for this race by the looks of it. And the top 5 remain unchecked. This is actually the last lap then. I've miscounted. Okay, this is poised neatly for what should be the grid order for race 2, if a little bit uneventful since the start. Who can we Well, what can we say? It's this circuit doesn't. Well, it's more for club level events. This is its peak. This is its biggest event of the season, and the fact that they've had a race is just hats off to the organisation, and we'll look forward to it for race 2. There's your top 5 then decided. There's 6th place ahead finally of Nakano. Nomura and Safe side by side through the final turn. This is going to be dramatic, but it's still, I don't know why Scaife bailed out there. Pole position is Pitsonia, but what about P15? What about P15? Fujiwara, there we go. He's going to be happy, the fans are going to be happy, and the team are going to be even more delighted with one solitary point. Even Swinny smiling next to me here. That was the moment of the race. The entire race. It was, yes, we would have nice to have seen some more action at the top of the field, but the fact that the oldest car in the franchise has managed to get a point in is just testament to the reliability of the cars in this franchise. Swinny, I can't say, well, I don't know what to say now. We'll just have to see if there's any more excitement for race 2.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, yeah, you're not wrong. Well done, Fujiwara. A singular point, but that's a huge, huge endeavor for that team. And secondly, well done to Timo Lotra. That was a pole position, lights to flag run. He, had the lead, didn't let it up, and he
guess
nearly
what?
got maximum points. He just didn't. He missed out on the fastest lap.
And that's win 13. That's the 13th winner in the 13th race of an inaugural season. Now, when we do get to the reverse grid, Mazda have already got a 1 win in. But maybe Scaife will be luckier this time by. Maybe even one of the Mitsubishis could be in with a shout for 14th winner. Fingers crossed it happens, but what an exciting season it has been if this race was a little dormant. So we'll go for a break. We'll see what the teams bring for race 2, and we can't wait for it. Good racing, everybody. Sayonara.